Yes.
Yeah. So again, we'll have to start again. I think there was some
Yeah.
glitch.
Some glitch with the earlier video. Yes. So we were
Yes.
talking about, in continuation of the product strategy. Last time we discussed the market research, like how that's done and what it entails. And today we are talking about product assortment. This is like, yeah, more related to product assortment, and the terminology is breadth and depth of product assortment. Yeah, I can't hear you, Mahesh.
Yeah. Breath and
Okay.
depth. You can, yes.
Yes, 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 yes. So, would you like to add something to it?
Yeah, so for breadth and depth, the first thing I think I remember is the difference between what do they call? One is a specialty store, and another is the a store which has got a lot of categories, right? Like a Walmart or something, which
Yeah,
is uh,
or any like retailer that sells lots of product categories. Yeah,
right.
mostly these big
Yeah.
stores. Yes, they
Yes.
generally tend to carry everything. But
Yeah. So
food and beauty, maybe food sits under food. I think FMCG would be more like health and beauty, and those products which have like a which get shorter shelf life. I not shorter shelf life. They're like picked quickly. They don't
yeah.
stay on the shelf floor for long. And then the rest is apparel and the other goods, the other categories.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, or maybe it also has like a short, yeah, something which is an impulse purchase can also be like a deep store, and also if some like a specialty store, or also if there is a um, lot of varieties inside a particular product category, right? Say for example, we have like you were part of a specialty store, right? Nita,
I have
where,
like I've worked for brands which have just dealt with footwear. I've worked for a brand that was just selling lingerie. So yeah, they were like pretty much specialty stores for that. But I don't know. I think in the previous video, which where we had the glitch, I think we explained what breadth and width depth is. I think in this video we haven't explained. So just to give an understanding of what breadth is, it is the number of options you carry. The it could be multiple categories that you carry or multiple styles that you carry in case of a specialty store. And
right?
depth is any variety under those. So a top line offering of product assortment becomes your breadth, and any depth under it, which could pertain to colors that you offer, and even sizing will sit under depth of the
Yeah, under
product.
the depth. So,
Yes.
so then, like say for example, a departmental store will be broad and shallow, and like a specialty store will be narrow and deep, right? So that's something that
Yes. Yes,
narrow
it
and
would
deep.
be.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So if it's narrow, then it'll have like maybe one or two subcategories in it or categories in it, and then it'll be deep. It'll have all the varieties, all the colors, all the sizes in it. Say for example, I have seen a lot of kiosks which only sells leggings, and then the inside leggings they will have all the varieties, like all different types of fabrics, textures in the leggings, and also in each
The deniers,
texture.
yeah, the weight
Yeah.
of
Yes, or GSM,
fabric, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, different thickness and all of that. And then in each variety, which is like a particular thickness, also they will have different three types of lengths. Like one is till the calf, one another is till the ankle, somewhere is
Yeah, a
in
high
between.
waist or mid
Yeah,
waist. Yeah.
yeah, and then plus they will have like hundreds of colors, like literally every shade you
Yeah.
can find, right? So that's like a special so that's like a narrow, which is only leggings. In fact, it has only one product category in that kiosk, and then but then it has all different types of varieties, all different types of sizes, and also different types of colors, like many
Yeah.
colors, or literally almost all colors which can match your top.
Yeah.
It has. So that's like a narrow and deep
Deep assortment.
assortment. And
Yes.
on the contrary, with like if you go to a departmental store, maybe they'll have leggings, but they'll just have like the basic core, like a black and
Yeah.
the popular colors, and the most fashionable length is only kept. Not all lengths will be there. Like if the ankle length is in fashion, maybe they'll just keep
Yeah,
only that. But
yeah,
then they will have lots of other categories also. They'll have men's, women's, and kids
yeah.
and home, and even in women's they will have like a lot of subcategories as well.
Yeah, but in a retailer, I feel that though it would be wide and shallow, there
Yeah,
could be certain categories. Let's say again, I'm like touching again on the term core products. So you could carry a core line which is seasonal or like 100% cotton, half sleeve t-shirts, and within that category, it could be
you
deeper.
can have, yeah,
Yeah,
the depth
that could have depth. It could offer
yeah,
like 20 colors and all the sizes. So then
yeah,
that becomes like a deep assortment.
yeah, that's true.
So there could be like some select handful of categories, which again, like depending on all your analysis that you run, you would come to those decisions, and they become the
Mostly
volume drivers then. Yeah.
also one is the core, a core subcategory like a t-shirt, a round neck t-shirt, half sleeve round neck t-shirt can also have a deep assortment. Also, if there is, like you said, there if it's an impulse purchase, then also like watches, a kiosk watches inside a departmental store can also have like a lot of varieties under watches, right? Like so they can also be deep, or hair bands or anything which is like a impulse purchase tend to have a deeper assortment than any other categories.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you because you would want to. I'm just thinking of like whenever I think of impulse purchases, I remember these Indian retailers where which would have multiple floors to them, like a
Mm-hmm.
shopper's stop and
Right.
lifestyle. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember like the entry door would be on the ground floor, and the ground floor would always have fragrances. So I'm just
Right.
trying to think
Yeah.
that which was an impulse purchase. So they made you
Yes.
walk through that. Yeah, and
Mm.
I think it did carry some accessories as well. Yeah.
Correct. Accessories and fragrances always are deep. They'll have a lot of varieties,
Yeah, and they
and
they had like the whole lot. Like they had like the EDPs, the EDTs, everything. So yes,
anything that is kept on the bin also, like say for example at the
till
cash counter, at the
okay,
till,
yeah.
next to the tilling counter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Also, they have deep assortments like hair bands and the
Yeah,
clips. That yeah.
but I think
So
that might be limited to the amount of space that you have.
right.
Because like in some of the food retailers, I like I'm just thinking of like what do they carry here? It might just be, a chewing gum, or if you something for a child, like a packet of nuts or some chocolates. So there won't be a variety, but if you were to club all of that as 1 pound products or under 3 pounds product, then there would be an option, yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe it will all sit under like under three and tiny, and then there would be like a collection of stuff. So
Right.
yeah, maybe from that perspective, yeah, you could call it a
Okay.
wide assortment. I don't know if it's deep. Depends, I think, maybe the retailer. If it's a grocery store or if it's a fashion retailer, I think they might be very different.
Yeah. So, yeah. Width is when you call it a wide assortment, when up until the subcategory level. Like so, there's a category is men's, women's, and then so you write it. So basically, this term with breadth and depth came because when you draw the hierarchy tree on a
Yeah,
paper, so
yeah,
then you actually write men's, women's, kids, and accessories. So that becomes the breadth, and then you under the men's, then you will also write horizontally the shirt, t-shirt, trousers, jacket, and then inside that you would start writing it vertically, right? Like inside the
yeah.
shirt, then you start writing. So that's how this whole term came as the breadth and then the depth. So anything which you write like on the paper vertically symbolizes basically depth, and anything that you write like on the hierarchy tree
Yeah,
horizontally, then that becomes
the
a
breadth.
Yeah, so that's how that whole term actually, if I
Yeah.
remember that, came. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what you when you mentioned that there are specialty stores, I
Hmm.
think that is another way of looking at and understanding the breadth and depth. And then when you're doing your competitor analysis, you will compare a specialty store with a specialty store, or
Right.
you will compare your menswear department in a bigger retailer with another retailer and compare the two categories. Because anytime you compare a retailer's menswear to a specialty menswear store, the assortment will be very different because the specialty store will have deeper assortment. It will have more variety.
Yeah, so when I was in a departmental store, so what we will do is we'll try to benchmark all the we will try to go and do a market survey for all the specialty stores to kind of identify what are the styles that we are missing, and is it okay to not, or is it because it's a specialty store they would have done a thorough understanding of the all the pieces, all the varieties.
Mm-hmm.
So we would try to understand that, did we miss out on anything? Should we launch this on the next season, or should we just drop it? All that can also happen. Like from a specialty store may not be able to do maybe a specialty store should do a market research, compare it with a departmental store for the prices. What are the prices that they're selling? Because the departmental store has much better understanding on the prices, what sells in the market and all of that, because they have a broad assortment. So therefore they will have a better understanding on a good data on what is the right price and what's not a right price. And then for if you want to understand which style you're missing, then the departmental store usually does the
Yeah.
market research with the specialty store on that thing. So you can see the good part of the other type of the format, and then you can kind of benchmark only those.
Yes. No, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that can also be done. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, and then again, like this becomes a part of your decision making. Once you understand the breadth and depth of your product categories, or if it's a specialty store of the product line that you carry, then season after season, when you're analyzing your sales and performances, you can come to a decision. And for a retailer to compare one category to another, this is another thing where you cannot compare a deep category with a wide category. So even that will affect sales. So I think even like decision making, like this viewpoint helps the
Yeah.
understanding of how many options were offered, what was the variety or the depth that you carried in uh, a category. I think that
Right.
also helps your decision making. Yes.
Yeah. So last time when you started with, you were saying that if there is a startup and they want to launch their product category, so
Yeah.
how do they go about it, Snigdha? How do you think according to you?
I think, see, when you're starting a startup, let's say you want to start it in fashion apparel, and your category of choice is women's wear, and target it to not like teens, but like somewhere 20s and above. And you want to carry an assortment that anybody, irrespective of what age they fall under, there will be some basic stuff for them. Then I think, yes, you should firstly start with, like, when you're creating your product strategy, you need to understand what's happening in the market, who's the competition out there. And then once you understand the kind of way you want to position your brand, and you have a few benchmarks in your book, that this is our competitor, these three brands are our competitor, then you have to understand the kind of width and depth, that the breadth and depth of assortments that they carry. So
Right.
are they carrying all the product lines? Because then women's wear is also like a very broad category. You could carry like tops, dresses, jackets, seasonal products, basic stuff. So then, if you've identified those benchmarks and that's the target audience that you are also going after,
Mm-hmm.
or are you just creating a complete niche product? I think firstly that clarity needs to be there. If it's a niche product, then I would say that you do have the leeway of experimenting with the breadth and depth. But if you've identified that this is my target audience and there are three existing brands that I have to compete with, you will have to match your assortment. You will have to understand the kind of breadth and depth that they are
Right.
offering. And you will
Right.
have to maybe like, so if they carry denim, you bring in denim. If they carry, um, they have a lingerie department, then you bring that in. Sleepwear, you bring that in. So, you have to see what exactly do you want to compete on. And then just the general categories that you would have, like dresses and jackets and over here, I mean, whenever you roll down like on a website for women's wear, you would always you would always expect to see certain categories, which is the breadth. And I think
Mm-hmm.
at least to carry those
Yeah,
is
makes
essential. Yeah. And then the
make,
depth, I think, in every category can be another decision making that's left with you. Maybe to begin with, you don't want to. If it's a startup, you wouldn't want to because you also don't know how a product category would perform. Maybe begin with not very deep assortments, shallow assortments the first season, to see which category is doing well under women's wear, like subcategory is doing well, and then you go deeper in those. But yeah, I think covering all of them, or at least the essential categories or the expected categories as a women's wear specialty store, you should have what a customer walking into the store expects.
right. Yeah.
I
Also, I
think,
see a lot of e-commerce retail, e-commerce brands, which they just start with just one product or one or two product category, just trousers, and then they have these unique some USP, which is like wrinkle free
yeah.
or and then they
So
have
I
like
think as a startup, that's what you would have clarity on. That do you want to just offer one product, or like I just picked up a product category which was wider, like women's wear is quite wide. But
which one?
yes, no, I'm saying that if the startup is very clear on just
Yes.
introducing one product category, only
Right.
one product
Yeah.
line, then
Yeah.
I think it's yeah, maybe then it's not such a big battle, or it just simplifies it. It simplifies the task on hand. Yeah.
But then when you guys did India Sari Store, that was like a broad. Was it a broad? That was also like you guys just took only silk saris, and then but the variety was more, right? Like so that was a deep. That was like
Deep.
that should
Yeah.
have been
It
narrow and deep.
wasn't wide. Yeah, it was never wide. I think it was focused on handloom. So handloom would just bring the category down to a little more narrow uh, place. And then from there, it was like Banarsi, Chanderi, and those were the categories. And even then, like very quickly, we found out like what are the saris that are working. And then we had like deeper assortments. We had like lots of variety that was offered under the most selling product category, which was but all of them were silk, all of them were handloom, so that was the commonality. And then because it was again a very different kind of a concept, it was easy to introduce that variety in quickly. But
Makes
yes,
sense.
I think you have to narrow down, like once you have that clarity what you want to sell, it will give you an idea. Like handloom on its own had narrowed down the whole thing, so because there was nothing machine made, nothing coming out like polyester. So that was already very narrow. So it was narrow and deep. And within those offered categories, there was one category which carried the maximum depth.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have the same options in Banarsi or Chanderi as we did in Kanjivarams. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And then there would be like some infusion, I think, here and there where we would have um, some exclusive collection of chicken curry or something sequined or something very party centric, or yeah, just to infuse or create that interest. So that's what was happening there. But like you said, yeah, you're correct that there was deeper assortment. It wasn't wide.
So yeah, for a startup, then that means that it's better to start like one category or even one subcategory, and then go deep for some time. And once they have a clear understanding of who their customers are, maybe they can launch other. products, other products,
Yeah.
other related products where it can upsell, cross sell, or which is
Yeah.
if you buy this, then the other thing can also be a good. Like say for example, for a sari, then like a sari shaper, and also like a sari cover. Those are the things that they can
Yeah.
introduce and then make it broader.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think that's the thing. Like that's where buying and merchandising or the understanding of these terminology and numbers is important because that's the decision you're actually making. So even if you're a startup and you launch certain product categories now, so what's happened in the next 6 months, somebody needs to like look at that, and whatever has happened is going to dictate which category actually grows. Now, growing a category doesn't mean that widening it or deepening it is a decision that will have to be made in like 6 months time. Not six
Yeah.
months time, but like closer to the end of the season, you will be coming on that decision that for the next season I want to deepen this category, or for the next season this was too wide, I want to narrow it now. Like I just had like too much happening here. I do not want to give that breadth, but I want to like go deeper in the categories. Or maybe I don't need to give so many colors in a t-shirt, but I want to experiment with a t-shirt, a casual t-shirt, a party wear t-shirt, a formal shirt, and widen instead of like deepening one of the product lines. So I think that that's what happens season after season. I think
Yeah.
that's what this department is meant to do, and the product strategy dictates. Like I said, it's stage one, but you go back to the drawing um sheet season after season. You have to go back and start that wheel. The first stage of ground zero happens every 6 months, or if your season is 3 months, then every 3 months you're going back to the drawing board. I was thinking of the term. Yeah, you can go back to the drawing board. Yes.
Yes. So, what else one can infer from a breadth and a depth? Mm, it's
See,
also like,
yeah. Sorry, in the depth, like in the depth, you also, so when you're giving a the breadth under women's wear dresses category. So you have like long full length dresses, midi dresses, and knee length or short dresses. So that's your width. And then within that, if you have like multiple options, colors and choices and different fabrics that you're offering, that's your depth. But even like the pricing, like the price, like how the price openings, like what's the opening price range that you have, and how much of that do you carry, what's the price range that you're carrying. I think that also becomes a part of the offer.
the depth, right? Yeah, the pricing also
Yes.
becomes the depth, right? So
Yes.
yeah, so then yeah, yeah. Are we going to talk about pricing on another day, or
I
we're
think
going to talk?
pricing we can maybe like just include. It's not a very big topic. Again, I think you can like look at what you are offering. I think again maybe like mapping it on a chart always helps, like seeing it on a graph, like visually seeing that these are the price points. So you have like 499, and you say that under 499 I have 10 options. For 599 I have 15 options, and I don't have anything for 699, and I straight away jumps to 999 where I just have like a few options.
Right,
So it also like gives you an understanding of what's happening where, and where is the customer gravitating towards.
right,
So,
exactly.
and does it mean that you've missed the price points that you're not offering at all? So, from whatever the missing price points are, do you want to introduce it? So, I think understanding the pricing that way also helps you offer a better collection. I feel that will also maybe.
Yeah,
But if your competitor is offering products at 799 and you have nothing for that price point, or if your average sales is 499 or close to 499, but the depth of your product offering sits there, then that will happen. But if your depth of product offering sits at 999, maybe your average MRPs, selling prices, would move closer to 999.
hmm, that's true. That's true. Like, yeah, and when we talk about pricing also, there is this we also understand that there is a category killer, which is like, which is intentionally kept very cheap, so that it can let it becomes like the entry point, and it also becomes the attraction point for the for people to come in to buy the store, buy that merchandise from that store, right? So, and then you can have like a profit maximizer where you have the maximum margins coming out of it. So then, like how you're saying that we have to have prices in between the profit maximizer and the category killer.
Yeah.
Actually, when I talk about uh, category killer in India, I don't know how it is there, but decathlon or decathlon, um, they have literally uh, they were one of the reasons. Literally, they give like a very tough competition to all the local shops, because if you see for any category, they would have the best category killer, right? So say for example, there's a round neck t-shirts. They have t-shirts for 100 rupees in India. So to get a t-shirt for 100 rupees, just the basic t-shirt is almost impossible, or you have to go to the like a flea market, or to where you can get a t-shirt for 100 rupees. So for every category they would have like a price which is like very decent style, but very cheap. And also
Mm.
they have like the most expensive ones. Like say for example, for the yoga mat, you get the cheapest of the yoga mat and the most expensive yoga mats from Decathlon. And yeah,
Yeah.
so they yeah, they have that depth in terms of, they play with depth in terms of, I don't think so they think anything about in terms of variety, but they very strongly think in terms of pricing. Like
Pricing.
they have to
Yeah,
give
I
the,
think so. Maybe the dictating factor is pricing for them more than like thinking that the customer requires so many options in their wardrobe. Maybe they're like, this is the price point we want to like push forward. This is
right,
what we want them to buy. Yeah. And I think that that's the same, like entry price point would be like volume drivers and value generators. So a
right,
value generator would be like a high value product, but you just need to sell two of them to get the same money that hundreds of this volume generating product would
yes.
make.
The
But
the volume generator can be a category killer, and the value driver
yes.
can be like a profit maximizer,
Yes.
right?
So I think like maybe like the people like switch between those terms and but they mean the same thing.
Right,
And yes, for pricing, I think like again, like if you have to like reinvent the wheel, you get a product at a certain cost, and then whatever the cost of shipping, and then you understand your margins or where you want to end the season with, because not everything is going to sell at full price. So, you just work out that full Excel sheet. I don't know if there are systems yet that do that for you, but yeah, we've always worked on Excel sheets where we would decide, or we had an understanding of what where the margins should sit for certain products, and we had an understanding of that on certain products the margins could not go beyond a point because it would affect the MRP or the retail selling price,
right,
and the customer would not pick it. So we knew that certain products had to be offered at a lower margin, and on some of the lines we could get away with because the product looked so premium and the product was so niche that we could get away with higher margins. Because
right.
you at the end of season, whatever you cannot sell, you have to take a margin hit. So that's like the first bit of planning that you would be doing. Like after you've decided your assortment, you've identified your where your product is coming from for a startup, like if you've identified manufacturers and factories where your product is coming from, and you have your product assortment, that's when pricing happens.
Yeah.
You do that
Also,
full thing. Yeah.
one thing that you had mentioned, that the if so there is a profit maximizer and there is a category killer. The styles that is priced in between determines. I remember they determine which one will sell the most, whether the profit maximizer or the. So when you keep the middle one, say for example, if you have like 300 rupees, 400 rupees, and 500 rupees, and this is the pricing that you do. If it's equally divided, then the more of the 300 and the 400 will sell rather than the 500. And but then if you have 300, 400, and 500, but then if you make that 400 into 450, then people will think that it's just only 50 rupees difference, and then the I'm sorry, 300 and 400, and then if you keep it, then you make the 300, you make the 400 350, then people will think that it's just only 50 rupees different, but then they get a much better style. So the
Yeah.
350 will sell more, but rather than, or otherwise, if you can make that 300, which is the middle pricing, to sorry, 400 was the middle pricing, right? So 400
Yeah.
as a middle pricing to a 450, then people will think that, yeah, if this is 450, but then the 500 is only 50 rupees more, but then I'm getting a lot of value. So by actually playing around the prices in between, you can swing people to buy the more of a category killer, or more of a like a profit maxer, which is like the value driving piece, or the volume driving piece. And
Yeah.
so I think I remember that we used to do something like that. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like for value driving, from what I remember, you wouldn't, for value driving also, it wouldn't be wide and deep. It would only be very narrow and shallow assortment. So you wouldn't have too many pieces of that. Whereas for a volume driving, it would be narrow but deep. So you would have like more to offer there.
Yes.
So I think that that is like maybe standard, like what you would, like anybody would do. So if there's a volume generating product line, you have depth in it, and if it's a value generating, you just keep it very narrow and you keep it very tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like for example, like for the lingerie brand, we had like this 100% silk collection, and the price points were like they were really expensive, like £150, some close to £200. So we didn't have to buy as many. With the quantity we would carry, like even the quantity that we carried in those product lines would be very minimal, and it wouldn't be, that was an assortment that wasn't sent to all stores. It just went to our best selling stores.
Hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And what else on pricing? Yeah, like I think pricing gives you that competitive edge. Maybe I think maybe like today's shopper is quite knowledgeable in terms of what, at least here in the UK, I feel like, I think my shoe size, my clothes size, I think is like the best selling size, like the most that sells out. So unless I am like on top and I go to the store and instantly get it, invariably the sizes are out.
Go out,
So I
correct?
think
Yeah.
the shoppers here are very aware of the collections and the kind of variety every retailer, and they're not brand loyal at all in this country. I think in India, people were very brand conscious and loyal
Yeah,
to brands.
yes.
Yeah,
I've
not over here.
been buying the same brand for a very long time.
Yeah, maybe some product categories like sneakers. Certain sneakers when they come out and people, or like luxury handbags. Maybe there you can see that loyalty, but otherwise, fast fashion, there is no loyalty, and
Right.
the customer is very knowledgeable about what's out there. So in those cases, I feel sometimes pricing will give you the competitive edge, not the variety that you carry.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
if you need like a black basic 100% cotton top, some people wouldn't care where they're buying it from, whether it's from Zara or a Tesco selling it or Sainsbury selling it. Um, that Yeah, I think like the end consumer will just go and pick it up from wherever it's cheaper, whatever's convenient to them at that point.
Makes
But
sense.
because they have an understanding of variety that every retailer carries. At least here I see, and there is no concept of brand loyalty. So then maybe pricing will be the determining factor, or the convenience of how close it is to your place, the availability of a store around you. That
Hmm.
becomes the determining factor more than like breadth and depth of the assortment a retailer or brand carries.
That's
But
true.
I feel in India it's maybe different. People are
Yes,
brand
but
conscious.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I am actually very brand loyal. I think if I like a brand, uh,
You will go
uh,
back to that
I
brand.
have,
You would
yeah,
want to. Yeah.
yeah. Most of the things that I have only purchased from almost all of it I have either purchased from Decathlon, or if I want something little better, then I have purchased from H&M. I have not purchased from anything else apart from Decathlon and
Okay.
H&M. So that's like
Okay.
my entire all for the. I think this has been like last. I did not buy anything from H&M, but then somebody suggested that why don't you? H&M is
So
also.
you are the customer that the brands will try to sell more to. So they'll be like, what else can we sell him? Like what's missing in our store that Mahesh isn't buying? But for me, if I'm not brand loyal and I want to just bring in something new and trendy into my wardrobe, I'll just like walk around, look at stores that offer something. So for me, it would not be depth so much. It would be like the breadth that everybody carries from store to
Mhm.
store. And then, of course, like it comes down to like quality and fit and, you know,
Right.
all that. But yeah, I think like maybe I am more of that. If I like something somewhere, I'll just pick that. So it's mostly the breadth of assortment talking to me. But with core products, like I wouldn't care. I think I would just buy it from. Now that the sustainability angle is there, I think we should be a bit more conscious of how our clothes are made and where we are buying from. Yeah, but like
Right.
every day, where
Mhm.
I
After that,
doubt.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that everyday and core products, I doubt that people think so much
Yeah.
about the brands that they shop from. Like the
So
majority. Yeah.
in breadth and depth, also the bundle packing also would come, right? Like say for example, if you have a lot of variety. So I've seen this is one thing that I've seen very prominently in Marks and Spencers, that they would keep like shirts, three shirts together or five shirts in a bundle pack, and then they would discount and all of that. And then I mean, almost all shops do it for inner garments and shoe socks. All of that they do. They have like different varieties, but then they bundle it together so that they can. They are deep, but also they don't want you to choose a single piece, but they wanted to bundle it together so that the average ticket size goes up.
Yeah.
So
Yes. I
that's
mean, from
also.
from what I have seen is that bundling products together, the bundles that actually work are the core colors. So when you
Yeah.
put like core colors together, not like fashionable colors, so you can't sell a fashionable bundle
Right.
because a core colored bundle will always sell where you put like a beige, a black, and a white.
Yeah.
Anything like even in lingerie section, or if it's nightwear, or if it's just the basic colors bundled together, you are taking less risk in
Right.
those. But
Makes sense.
bundling up a print and a floral and something else together,
Might
unless
not work.
that's what you've tested the market and you know that this is what the customer comes back for, this is what they're looking for, and every season they need a new variety bundle.
That's
But
true.
from whatever I've seen like core selling, core colors selling bundled up
Because
together better. Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Or
Yeah, yeah. I've
and some
seen Marks and Spencer,
e-commerce. Yeah.
having not core but a little stripes and checks as a bundle. But I think they must be knowing because they have bundle packing for shirts for a very long time. So they must have understood what
Yeah.
sells and what. But
Yeah.
otherwise, if it's a variety, if it's like a fashion and you try to bundle, then it might bomb, right?
Yeah. And I think online at least, so this is like packaged bundles together, but there is this concept of bundling products together where you say that if you buy three of these, you get like 30% off. Or online, it's quite prevalent where you give them an option of that for like 1,000 rupees, you can bundle two different products of your choice together.
Mhm.
So sometimes like those options are also there, which is more of a selling technique, selling tactic than anything else. But I think what you're talking about is actual packaged bundles, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. They are, I think, yes. They would fall under a category where you've experimented and you know this works. So and you're offering like a deeper assortment, and you know that this will sell if even if put them together.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So they come
That's
a part of the depth, right?
yeah. It
Yeah,
becomes a part of the depth.
yeah. Okay.
Usually it happens on core categories and
Yeah.
the styles that you really know that it's going to sell. And you kind of now it's a and also it's a the margins are less, so it's better that you bundle them so that at least you have you can have a better top line.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think, yeah, that's I think another thing that maybe like when you're working in this field, you see that maybe a black top 100% cotton, a white and a beige, you would want to sell it. The customer expects it to be sold at the same price, but the margin might not be the same on all of them. Maybe
That's right.
dyeing one, like the black one, or a complete pure white wash on a white t-shirt would make it more expensive.
Right.
But that's where the margins come into play, where you try to like still offer them at the same price point, because the customer doesn't know that this is like one
Mhm.
product that looks exactly the same. Just because of color difference, it's costing different. They want
Yeah.
it to be priced the same. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it cannot be price different, right? It has to be priced the same.
It has to be. So that's when, yeah, when you roll up that sheet, like when you're doing your pricing sheet after your costing, that's where all this happens, to make sure that at the end of the season, you are what profits you want to like end the season with is realized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
come to the
End of, yes. I think
end
we've
of
spoken enough about, yes, and we've also touched on pricing
yes,
along with breadth and depth. Yeah.
yes. So yeah, we'll come with another topic. I think there's some more points, some more uh, some more important things in under the retail product strategy. We'll have another day, another important section of the retail product strategy.
Okay. I think we've spoken about core, seasonal, exclusive lines. Um, I think we've like mentioned it in one of the sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come
If
up with
there's
a topic
yeah,
that
we'll talk about it.
falls
Yes.
under the product strategy. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye bye.